go to Rory straight away.
Thank you. Ben, we know how optimistic you were about this series. How painful is that to be on the wrong end of a day 2 defeat?
Yeah, obviously pretty tough. Going into our bowling innings there, where Australia had to chase the sort of highest score of the Test match. We were pretty confident in our ability to be able to go and bowl them out. But yeah, I mean, at the moment, still in a little bit of a wow phase after what Travis Head have just done to us. That was a pretty incredible, special knock from Travis.
Were the guys out there a bit shell-shocked by that, the nature of how they took on what was, as you said, sort of the highest score of the match? It seemed like they didn't quite know how to stop the bleeding.
Yeah, I think it was obvious to us as a group when Travis came out at the top of the order there with Jake that they'd sent Travis out there to play the role in which he was so successful at doing. And yeah, it was so hard to be able to continue with plans in which we tried to implement, because he had an answer for everything. We went through 3, 4, 5 different modes to try and get the wicket of Travis, because when he was going, we knew that he was going to be the big one. But yeah, he just had an answer to absolutely everything, and he really took the bowlers on, and yeah, it was some knock.
When it comes to the batting, you've lasted 67 overs across 2 innings. Like, are you mindful that just isn't going to work? It's going to stop in terms of how quick the innings have unfolded?
Well, bar that, that innings there, Australia chasing down 200 and what was it, less than 30 overs. 19 wickets fell on day one, and the guys who had success out in the middle were the ones who were brave enough to take the bowlers on and get them off the length, which was the most successful. Watching our guys bowl on that first innings, it just looked impossible, in particular for Marnus and Steve, to be able to score when we were able to run up and smash away at that length. And I guess for us and for me, in conditions like that, on wickets like that offer a lot to bowlers, when you are the one who's managed to get the time out in the middle, read the wicket and understand it. It's just realising that enough's never enough, even on a wicket that is obviously offering a lot to the bowlers. It's pretty obvious that the guys who managed to find success out there were the ones who really decided to take the game on, because there was a lot happening out there.
We'll go Stefan and then Will, please.
Ben, you've got some young players in your squad who haven't played Ashes cricket before or haven't played in this country. I'm sure these conversations won't happen tonight, but when you guys get together and reflect on what's happened, what do you say to the team?
Look, I think we've got to let that whole 2 hours sort of sink in first, and reflect on it properly, without the emotion that's attached to what's just gone on there. Obviously, there's disappointment and a lot that you come off the field with there being on the losing side. So, that's up to myself. It's up to Baz and some of the other senior guys who have a lot of experience in big series like these. Because you've got to let emotions like this sink in, and it has got to hurt. But also, you've then got to get rid of them as quickly as you possibly can, while also learning from it. Because when we get to Brisbane, we need to be back up to that mindset of how we came into the series before this game. We're still very confident of our abilities in achieving the goal. So yeah, we've got to be so crucial about not taking any baggage from this result into Brisbane, because we need to win that one.
You've had a long-standing plan to use paintball out here in Australia, and there was a time, certainly last night, when that seemed to be working really well. What do you take from this game, thinking about parts of that plan have worked and into the next 4 Test matches?
Yeah, well, I think that bowling performance yesterday from the group was just phenomenal. There was a lot going on. we had the Aussies jumping around, finding it very hard to score against us as well. Obviously there was pace, there was incredible skill to be able to ball them out for 120. And then you fast forward to the day after, and then the outcome of the same group of bowlers is completely different. And yeah, you're still obviously hurting about all that kind of stuff at the moment. But what a difference a day makes to what one batter can do to a bowling attack.
When you say it's got to hurt, what do you mean by that, and do you use that when you're moving forward?
It's got to hurt.
Yeah, you said that you've got to allow the defeat to hurt.
Yeah, you do. Obviously the two sides of sport. Winning and losing, the emotions are completely different. There's the highs of winning, and as everyone says, when you got to let that go and then move on to the next one, just as you do when you have these emotions in sport. You got to feel it all, but then, get rid of it and put all your concentration into what you got coming up next.
We'll go Will, Louis, and then Chris, please.
Ben, you've been on 2 Ashes tours before. There's been last three have gone a similar way where England have lost first test, and it runs away from them pretty quickly. How do you ensure this one doesn't go the same way, and why would it be different this time?
We've been in situations where we have been behind series before, and it's our attitude that I think stands out, that allows us to move on to the next game through good and through bad. We're a very good team at, I think, dealing with emotions when we need to think about what we've got coming up next. I'm a pretty level-headed person in terms of success and failure. I'll wake up in the morning, still be incredibly disappointed, but all of my focus and all of my energy will be going into getting the group back up, and moving our thoughts and what we need to do onto Brisbane.
Can I just ask about that period of half an hour after lunch where there's 4 quick wickets? Would you say that was your batting approach being taken too far, or is that actually what you want to see your players doing that they executed wrong, or was the approach wrong?
Oh, look, I think you can label it how you want when obviously things are dictated on the outcome of a decision. As I said, the batsmen who found success out there were ones who any scoring opportunity came their way, they didn't feel like they wanted to let go. You still have to find ways of scoring runs on flat wickets. You have to find ways of scoring runs on wickets that offer a lot for the bowlers. I think the way in which the 19 wickets fell on day one, we were more proactive with our approach of scoring those runs. Hence how we managed to come away with a 50-run lead. Obviously it would have been nice to have a bigger lead going into our last bowling innings. We were very confident about our ability to keep Australia restricted to under 200 and win the game, but that wasn't the case.
We'll go Louis at the back, and then Chris Fish.
Ben, you mentioned that the Aussies yesterday, the speed of your bowlers were down today. Did you sense that as a skill?
I think that's can be a natural thing to happen. The day one expenditure of an Ashes series, I think it takes a lot out of you, more than what people could probably understand. We threw quite a lot of energy and effort into that bowling performance yesterday. And look, it's not like we're all bowling slowly. Even if the paces were down a few Ks, we still had lads hitting mid 140s, high 130s. So I wouldn't say that's slow.
Chris, Dan, and we'll finish with Andrew. Go ahead, Chris.
Ben, you mentioned not going to Brisbane with any baggage. I guess it's difficult with a large group because everyone's different. But how do you, as captain, ensure that there isn't any baggage and they head into that game
Yeah, it's, that's one of the things about leadership is, obviously it's pretty easy when things are going swimmingly well to be able to move on to the next one, and it might be a little bit more difficult to do it when you're leaving with from a disappointment from a game to the next one. But that's the great thing about this role is that you have more responsibility than just out on the field. We've been here before. We know what it's like to lose a game. So look, we know that we are a good team at bouncing back. And yeah, it's up to me and Brendan and the other senior guys over the next however many days we've got before the next one to make sure that we're in the right place mentally that we need to be in to go into that Brisbane game and come out with a result.
Do you draw on what happened in the summer of 2023 to kind of help you with that? Back from 2-0 down?
I mean, you could maybe use that as in however way that you want. But again, history is history. We've got stuff to do moving forward, and we know what we need to do. And yeah, me and Basil will do the right thing.
Dan?
And do you expect that, given the success Australia had with Travis Heather, they would continue to do that for the remainder of the series? And would you prefer him down the order?
I'll let you ask Steve that.
And last one, Andrew, please.
Ben, you've spoken about how with your batting, it's the players who attack most that thrive. But on the other side, do you feel like your batsmen need to bat for longer so that your bowlers can rest for longer?
I mean, I get the question, and obviously I understand it, but it's, bat for longer is a pretty easy thing to say, a lot harder to do.
Do they need more rest, your bowlers?
Every bowler would love a bit more rest, but